Okay, we're gonna do this side. I was pulling pieces back of my hair, but because with the braids, just how it is, I think I'm gonna keep all of it down, even though these, like, my front pieces, they're like my grown out bangs. Because last summer, I had curtain bangs, and then I have like this little, it's not doing it right now, but I have a little cowlick here, and so sometimes, like, it wouldn't stay flat, so it turned out, as much as curtain bangs were fun, they were not meant for my style. I'm just like, I don't know if it's a weird thing. Sometimes the braids look really good, other times they don't. And I'm just trying to, like, I don't want to, like, fully brush them out, but, like, kind of. Okay. Also, sometimes I will say hair is hard to judge when there's no makeup on, so we're gonna do that. Okay, my hair is kind of pushed back. Funny. Where's my sunscreen? That is always the first step. There it is. It fell over. Okay. Dermalogica sunscreen. It's SPF 50. I'll put this all over my face. Okay, let's talk. I know I kind of did a little update in the last one about dating apps. We'll talk a little bit more. I also want to talk Taylor Swift. Because we are now post Speak Now, Taylor's version released. And the I Can See You music video came out last night. Well, this morning. So dating apps there, I will say, dating apps are just hard. They are just hard, and it's kind of like a weird give and take situation, because really, they're the only way to, like, meet people just based on my preferences of things. Like, I'm not someone, I don't like the party, I don't like to go out the bars, like, I just, and obviously those are, like, some of the stereotypical places you meet people, but, like, I'm just not that kind of person. That's not my forte, it's not my cup of tea. Like, I'll drink occasionally, but, like, I'm pretty sure I can count the drinks I've had this year. Last time I went to Epcot, I got one. My dad's PhD celebration. I had a one, and then an earlier Epcot trip earlier this year. And so, like, it's not my forte, so, like, I feel like it just would feel unnatural meeting someone at, like, one of those situations, and, like, I just, it's not me. I like to say I'm an extroverted introvert, and so really the only way to, like, meet people is through dating apps. And so, like, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but that's kind of what dating apps are. You are judging a book by its cover, because you're only getting to see, on Hinge at least, you're only getting to see 6 profile pictures, and there's 3 prompts, and then, like, all the little stuff on their information section, which certain things you can hide, some things you can make visible, so it all depends. And some people will hide, like, almost everything, but it's the things that have to be visible, and you're like, okay, but you're like, I don't know enough about you. And then, like, there's a couple things that are, like, big important things to me, and if I don't see a guy, like, checking them off, like, I'm not gonna message them. I cannot, oh, there we go, I was about to say, I cannot find a single sponge, and so that makes it hard. And so, like, I'm just not in situations where I, like, can meet single guys besides an app. And I will say majority of my friends are in long-term relationships, or they're engaged, or they're married. And so I am an outlier here of the people who are in Orlando. I have a couple friends who are not in Orlando, in other states, that are like me and in a single boat. And then, but of the people who are local, they're all coupled up, and some of them, they have, like, they know of single friends, but they're like, I wouldn't put you with them. Like, they are not a good fit. Like, they don't, like, they know, like, I am more serious. I want a long-term relationship. I'm like, I'm dating for marriage. I'm not dating just to date. That's just my preference. And so, like, I have friends that are like, yeah, no, like, I know people are single, but they're like, I would not pair you up with them. And so it's, like, kind of this hard thing, and it's definitely disheartening at times, because you're just like, I just want a person so badly. Like, I want a boyfriend. Like, I don't need a boyfriend, I know that. But I just would like to have one, because then it's like you have like a little random adventure buddy. And one thing I do wish in hindsight is that in college I had more single friends. Instead, pretty much all of my friends were in relationships or engaged, or even some were married. And so I definitely don't think that was good to early 20s me, because I'm mid-20s, I'm 25. That's literally the middle of your 25. But early 20s me, that was not the best thing to be surrounded by that. And I definitely was insecure that I've never had a boyfriend. Like, I've dated, obviously, since 2020, I've dated guys, and some dated more than others. But I've never had, like, a labeled relationship. And then this year, I only got my first kiss this year. And I will say that was another thing I was always nervous about, because, like, if someone asks you, like, oh, like, why are you on this app? Like, what's on here? And if you're like, well, I just never prioritized dating. Like, I haven't had my first kiss, haven't had my first boyfriend, like, haven't done any of that stuff. Like, some people, they're like, okay, goodbye, which I'm glad it filters out some of those people who wouldn't. But it is annoying when you're like, okay, like, like, you go through this whole process of, like, is my inexperience the reason that I'm not even getting a chance, anything? And obviously there's some people who, like, that shouldn't be the thing, like, and then it's like, also it's like, is it my appearance kind of thing? And like, it's this whole never ending spiral cycle, especially when you get a movie, because I admit, like, when I don't think I've really talked about this too much. The reason why so I was on dating apps in late 2020 through mid 2021, and then I deleted them for 2 years until I re-downloaded them this year. And the reason why I did it was, one, I felt like I was changing my intentions, and I was liking more of, like, oh, I'm getting guys telling me I'm pretty, and I like that, and, like, but they weren't quality people. I was just liking that I was doing that because I had never had, like, romantic attention before, because I just never prioritized dating. And then I also realized it was after getting my heart broken a couple times by, like, getting let on or just getting ghosted or rejected kind of thing, because also some people, they don't you think it's going one way, and then they never communicate, and then when you finally bring up the conversation because you thought things were going well because you're still continuing to see each other, and then they're like, oh, we just want to be friends here, and you're like, but we met on a dating app. And then I will say 23-year-old me was a lot more naive and was just like, oh yes, I'll do anything to keep this person in my, because you're delusional with things, and you're like, well, maybe they will like me at some point or whatever, and it's like, no. And then I saw a TikTok once that was like, never have a man tell you twice that they don't like you or something like that. And that really hit it for me. And so kind of did that, and like I took 2 years off because definitely confidence took a major hit. And I think that's natural for anyone. If you put yourself out there and you're not getting the results you're hoping for, just because, like, at 22, 23, like, I was right out of college. I didn't have any romantic relationships before because I did dance growing up. I danced 6 days a week. I was, like, I didn't have time between school and dance to put, like, dating first. And, like, I know I shouldn't regret putting my education and my career first, but there are some times that, like, I wonder if I didn't put that first and, like, maybe made it more balanced, like an equal thing of, like, relationships and that, if I put them on, like, an even playing field, would that have been better for me rather than just, like, one track focus kind of thing? But then also, like, I do appreciate that, like, I do. So it's like this weird, like, internal battle. And now I will say, like, obviously this summer I dated one guy and it was going well, and then he pulled back and then ghosted for 2 weeks and then tried to show back up, and it was like, no, sir. Like, you don't get to break my heart to only come back in and try and, like, like, no. There is no recovering from that. And so that was hard. And then just like not finding people who like your profile, because you can tell. And it's one thing on dating apps, you can tell when a guy reads your profile versus a guy who doesn't. I will read every little thing on their profile. And there are a lot of guys I have on my profile, I want kids. That is just something. I've always been the person who, in my friend group, that I've always dreamed of a wedding. I've always dreamed of having kids, kind of thing. And the amount of guys that like my profile, and I can tell that they didn't really read because they like my second or third picture, and their profile says they don't want kids. You're like, you didn't read. Like, we are not going to mash. Like, we have clearly different goals, and there's other things on the profile that I look at. I'm like, yeah, no, that's just not for me. And then when you do find one that like things look well and you match, and then you start talking and things are good, and then you get like the conversation just like dies. You're like, okay, you're like, great. You're like, this is really doing wonders for my confidence again. And like, you have to like pull back, and I like will say the biggest thing is dating apps, like they take a hit to your confidence. Like, that is all I'm gonna say. And like, there's that cliche, they're like, you should love yourself before you do. And the thing is, you can. Like, I spent 2 years after the first time on the dating apps, like, just working on me, like, rebuilding my confidence, and it's dwindled so fast again. And it's like one of those things that you're just like, you have to like give some things, and you're like, yeah, like when I'm not thinking about my dating stuff, I feel great, I feel confident, like I love stuff. But then like you get on there and you're sending likes and you're just not seeing anything back. You're like, you kind of think, okay, what's wrong with my profile? What's wrong with me? Like, clearly you go to spiral, you're like, clearly I'm the problem. I'm the only common denominator through all of this stuff. And then you're just like, no, it's you are laying out your intentions and they had different intentions. And so it's like this weird balance and learning thing. And it's just like, I would love nothing more than to meet someone in person. But I just like, I don't do things that I can meet someone in person. I work in a woman-dominated field. Like, that's not going to happen if you guys are there. They have significant others already. So you're just like, okay, like, it's not going to come in the career field. Like, you're like, okay, I don't go into situations where you would meet probably, like, single guys, because they're just not me. They're not my personality. It wouldn't match at all, kind of thing. And you're just like, and I love going to the theme parks, but you're not going to find someone in the theme park. Because you could see a cute guy and be like, oh my gosh. And they could be like, oh, I'm from another state. So you're like, I'm not even going to play down that path road, kind of thing. So it's just like this weird, what do I do kind of mood, because you're just like, I want to find someone. I would love to have someone that could be like just going on little adventures, whether that's like driving around in a car or doing fun things, just like chilling out, kind of thing. Ooh, that is a lovely bruise from yesterday. I got blood work. No, not yesterday. Thursday. I got blood work done. That's a bruise. They did have trouble this time. They usually have. Every other time, I swear, they have trouble finding my veins. No matter how much water I drink. I need a base. Because I think the base I've been using, it does not like my eyelids, because I normally get these little spots after it. I have such sensitive skin, so I'm going to get rid of that, because I've noticed every time I use it, I have a problem. I know I have a concealer somewhere. I mean, when in doubt, I can just put a little bit more foundation on my eyes. But it's like this weird, like, I don't know. Like, I want to keep looking on dating apps, because I do want to find my person. But, like, and this goes back to the thing, like, I waited this long to date. I'm going to keep my standards as high as they are. Like, I am not compromising on things that I want just to find someone. So it makes it even harder when you're like, I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. But literally, like, you're not seeing anything that's even close. And every once in a while, there's, like, maybe one that you're like, ooh, this one, based on what they're showing, is, like, 95% there, but the other 5%, like, you wouldn't know unless you talk to them. So you're just like, this is hard battle. I feel like because I've gotten tanner this summer, Even though I'm using it as an eyeshadow base, that is nowhere near my level of skin color. I might need to get, this is what, C2? I might need to get C3. Because that is brightening. That would be great as a brightening concealer, but like, I don't know. Normally it would match perfectly as my eyeshadow base, but that is bright. I clearly gotten tanner. Well, it makes sense. I've been going on walks outside. Trying to like, okay. So, I don't know. It's just like this weird thing of like what to do with the dating apps, because there's like a part of me that's like, I want to delete them because of the spiral moments where you're just like, enforce the test with, hi, it's me. The problem, it's me. And then like you're like no, it's just someone hasn't met your standards, and you're trying to tell yourself, and like the right person will come, what's meant for you won't pass you. Like if it's not working out, it's not meant to be. Like it's just this hard like thing. You're trying to hype yourself up, but like you're getting knocked down. So there's that. But let's talk Taylor Swift. Let's talk a little bit more happy. Well, it also kind of leads into this. Speak Now, Taylor's version came out. And it's funny, the songs that were like my least favorite when it came out when I was 12, almost 13. Now I'm 25. Will be 26 at the end of this year. Completely different. I would have said like years ago, probably my least favorite songs were like Last Kiss, Dear John, and I'm trying to think, what else did I not like when it first came out? And I don't know. I just know those two songs when it first originally came out, I didn't really like. But as someone who has had a first kiss person that you're like, oh, this is my person, turn into a last kiss situation where you're like, I never thought we'd have a last kiss. And then like dating many J names and getting burned by many J names. Like Dear John hits a little different. Dear John and Last Kiss hit a little different, and like they might have been my least favorites back then. But they're now like my favorites, and I think it's because I just like, we are like everyone's in a Speak Now era because of that album getting released, but we are really in a Speak Now era. And it just like really relates. We're gonna go back in with the Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles palette. It's just so pretty. Going in. Ooh, let's mix Cloudy and Besties for the crease. I'm using a BH Cosmetics brush. I got a lot of new brushes. They're kind of like, I like this. I like peach. I'm looking at my brushes. So like most of them are like blush or rose or this peachy color. So they're very like, they match kind of thing. Bessie's and Cloudy is going in the crease, like kind of like mixing them together. I will say these are like, they're so soft and like they're very buildable, which I like. They're also very pigmented. So like mixing it with Cloudy, which is like this lighter shade, which honestly is probably like very similar to like my skin tone. Like it helps soften it so that like you're like, oh, I can work with it rather than be like, oh my gosh, that is so pigmented. We love pigment, but sometimes you're like, I need to build up to it. Okay, now let's go in with Besties. But so it is funny to like just see like the differences, and I will say this is like the first time that like I've had heartbreak close enough to a Taylor release one, besides when Fearless Taylor's version came out. But I feel like Fearless Taylor's version, it like just, it gives more like high school vibes because of like 15. Obviously I wasn't 15 when it originally came out, but like it just kind of like matched more with those vibes kind of thing. And so like it Fearless doesn't feel like, I mean obviously there's Forever and Always, and which is like a definitely, or like the Wait I Loved You, Tell Me Why. So like there are heartbreak songs, but to me Fearless just doesn't feel like a heartbreak album, if that makes sense. I know there's like like obviously people say Speak Now is actually the most like revenge filled album, and like Reputation, if you look, it's more of a love album. Midnight's is more of like a breakup album. So like there's a little bit of an album for everything, every time sequence, but like it just, when I was going through the heartbreak, it didn't really feel like Fearless vibes, it did feel Red TV vibes when that came out later, but I was definitely a little bit like more moving on by that point. But speaking that I finally had a first kiss and then also last kiss at the same time right before Speak Now TV came out, like how kind of that person to let me have the real like Speak Now TV like experience. Yeah. And so like, and then the vault songs are amazing. I will say some of the vault songs were not like what I was envisioning for them, but like they were so good. And then I've just been watching on TikTok like live streams of the concert, and last night she did Long Live during the Speak Now set, and I'm like, I need to see if like Long Live is gonna be like part of the Speak Now set from now on. Like, I want to see after tonight, because I'm like, I love Long Live. Like on the Reputation Stadium tour, on the piano she did Long Live and New Year's Day together, and that was like my absolute favorite thing. And so like now that she's playing Long Live again, I'm like, I want to see it. I need to see it. And it's not helping because I've gone through waves since, because my date was April 15th. Tampa was the 4th city she done, so a lot has happened. There's been new outfits. There's been like, obviously Speak Now has gotten a change kind of thing, and just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go again. And then also I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people been posting about the merch issues anymore, which makes me feel like they got fixed. It's just because in the beginning they were kind of like, you didn't know, it was like kind of like more like faulty, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And so now it's just like, oh my gosh. And like there were times where it's like, oh my gosh, I need to go get it, and I'd be like look and be like, oh, I'm gonna go to this day, and then you're like, no, let's save money. And now I'm like, if Long Live gets played again tonight, I feel like that means it's fully on the set list. And I will be trying to figure it out. The bright side is I am a teacher and I am still off in summer break. The thing is, like, I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, I would love to do like an LA show, because I've always wanted to go to Disneyland and I could time that. But the thing is, when she's in LA, we're in pre-plan week for teaching. So like, I couldn't, now I've entered some contests and like, your girl is hoping she could win, but I would literally have to like fly like out like Friday night after work, fly home like Sunday, so I'd be here back for work on like Monday. That is the downside to teaching in Florida, is that we go back so early, and you're like, but then I'm like, well, I think Seattle is this month too. There's a California show on the 29th, but like I have a concert the 30th and the 31st, so that also wouldn't work. And so it's just like this one thing, you're like, well, like, do I do it? Do I not? But then also I'm like, I've seen like a lot of like, obviously there's the international dates, and like, more power to the people who could do an international one and do it. There is a funny thing that one of the dates that's happening next year, I know people who are going to that country during roughly around one of the cities, and I'm like, but no, that's a little too delusional. I can handle being delusional in the States, but I do feel for the Canadian Swifties who they don't get a date. But part of me just feels like I had heard someone say like there was rumors of like another US leg after the international ones, which would be crazy. Speaking, that would mean she'd be going so long. But I'm like, I'm gonna be delusional and hope that there is another one, because that would help me be like, okay, we could go again. But yeah, what color do I want to do? Or in green. Do I like add in? I could have done a more green look. I bet I didn't. I do love a pink. But gold's always fun. Mora is like a goldish. It's like a gold with a green tone, whereas like Sunny is like a orangey gold. Like, you see? So maybe we'll do Mora. But it's been a big struggle that all summer I've been like, I want to go, but then you're like, money, and then you're also like, but I could, because you're like, when do you get to do this stuff again? Like, so it's just one of those things that I'm like, I keep going back and forth, and like, the Speak Now set getting longer is like, And I think, like, obviously there's some people who are like, oh my gosh, it's only a week after my show. Like, I feel for the people who, like, went and, like, just missed this by a little bit. But, like, also for, like, the Swifties who are like, we went at the beginning of the tour and now, like, so much has happened. You're like, and obviously, like, if I was going to do it, I'd be having to be by through, like, SeatGeek or StubHub or, like, one of those websites, which I will say the closer you get to them, they do it. And so it's, like, one of those things I could, like, YOLO it and, like, fly out to a city and then, like, day of be buying it, or the night before. But that feels a little too risky. I'm not that risky, but, like, I don't know. It's just, I keep going back and forth because it's just, like, you're only going to be able to do these, like, whimsy things. And the problem is, if I do any of this, and also the thing with going back to Disneyland, is they're doing the Rogers, the musical, in Disneyland California Adventure. And I'm just like, I love Steve Rogers. And the fact that, like, they're doing that and it's only a short run for the summer. Part of me wonders if they're, like, testing it out to see if, like, it will, like, eventually, like, stay a little bit longer. But, like, I'm just like, like, what do I do? I'm like, it's like a hard thing. And you're just like, if I do it, I would be on my own for it. Because, like, just no one else really has the time. And it's just like, I've never traveled on my own, like, that far. And I feel like that would be insane. And I don't know if I could do it. That's a problem. I've also realized maybe part of my problems dating wise, I just need more friends. Maybe I'll try, like, Bumble BFF or something. Like, I would like to have a couple more, like, gal pals. Like, I believe in quality over quantity, but, like, I do need some more that are, like, local and could do things with. So maybe that's something to look into. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Maybe I would do a little bit of Sunny Lake, right? No, that definitely going to go back in with more, like, the green gold. I do need to get, like, glitter, like a glitter eyeshadow palette. There's a lot from, like, indie brands that I see that I'm like, ooh. I just saw 27 on there. I'll have to look that one up. Now we're doing lip shades. If I remembered, Lanny was too light for me, so we're gonna go with more. I would say, like, I feel like, oh yeah, that's much better, my shade. Like, Lanny's a pretty shade, but it was just too pale for me. More as, like, it's a little bit more peachy than I would do, but I do like it. Maybe I'll put, like, a little bit of this Lanny in the middle. I do like these things because, like, I like this tone, but it, like, comes up way too late on me. That's kind of pretty. Okay, now mascara. Where is my mascara? I also can't find my eyelash curler. I'm going to have to find that. So we're just grabbing a thing and putting on. There we go. I don't know. It's, like, more lighter. It's, like, not more lighter. It's lighter than I normally do. Like, where is my? I usually do this matte one, and, like, you can see it's, like, a tone or two darker. This is the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in Seductress. I also have the one that's in Lover. That's also really pretty. But that's a little bit more fall because it is darker. But I don't know. This one does feel more summery because it is lighter. It's getting used to. Going in with the Benefit Bang. I will say I have really bad itchy, allergy, watery eyes. To the point that my allergy is so bad that my CVS app was like, it's almost allergy season. We recommend you stocking up on allergies. I was like, I asked to get called out like that, but here we are. They did reach their target audience with that one. And so there's only been ever a couple mascaras that, like, haven't irritated my eyes. Benefit Bang is one of them. Brooklyn Bailey / Next Door, that's another one. It's just, like, I know you can set up a service for it to get delivered, but, like, I don't know. I'm a person who, like, I forget about it and I lose products easy unless I, like, go out and buy them in there. The Lancome Monster Big used to work the waterproof one, not the regular, because the regular I turned into, like, a raccoon. But I think they changed something in their formula because it started itching really badly. What other brands have I tried that didn't work? I've tried It Cosmetics, that didn't work. I've tried some of the drugstore ones, they don't work. Minus the pink and the green tube, like the Maybelline Great Lash, but like that does nothing for my lashes, like curl wise, because it's also a thing. I have like pretty dense lashes, and so I need something that lifts them. And like some of them, they'll just like coat them and then they're like flat out, and you're like, okay. Whereas this definitely like lifts. And then who else have I tried? Oh, I've tried Tarte, the Lights Camera Lashes, and the Man-Eater one. Both of those, my eyes just like really itched. I probably tried most mascaras. I forget. Oh, I do remember there was one, but I don't know where they got it. Is 1 year for a birthday, someone gave me like this Michael Kors mascara, and like it had this cool like on the, it could be like a one like this, but then at the top you could twist it and like it would make it like more there. That was the coolest thing, but like I don't know where they got it from, because whenever I looked at like counters for like in like a Macy's or whatever of that, I never saw that mascara. So I was just like, was it like a free gift with purchase or something? Like, I don't know. So that one I just tried and then could never find to rebuy, but I guarantee by now it's probably like also changed its formula. So those are just the mascaras. I heard someone say the Clinique one, but I feel like I've used Clinique mascara before. I used it in high school because my high school prom makeup was done at the Clinique counter. Because fun fact with, not all counters, but at least at my local mall that I got done with, and this was back in 2016, things could have changed, was they would do your makeup for free. They just suggested that you buy a product after it. And so because I was getting it done for prom, what I decided to do was I was gonna buy my foundation and I was gonna buy my lipstick was what I did. So I have tried Clinique mascara. I think did they do lashes? Did I bring my lashes? They might have even done falsies, I can't remember. So they're not used to seeing me with like a lighter lip color. But it's pretty though. It's just very natural looking. Okay. Hair is a little crazy, but you know what? We're in Florida. The humidity is going to make it even crazier. So we're going to leave it like this. This has been a long chit chat. Get ready with me. Just kind of the summer vibes, you know? Talking about what's going on dating wise, because it is like part of the adventure of this summer. But it's definitely, it's hard. There's no other way than that. It's hard. But I will see you in the next one. Okay.